Welcome to The Grand Balance, a bi-weekly podcast hosted by two working grandmas navigating the beautiful chaos of work and family. Hi, Angela.
Hey, Sharon.
How are you?
I'm good.
Back to normal life.
That's right. There's so much going on, though. Before we get started on today's episode, I just want to share a little story and I think a tip for other grandmas maybe going through this.
Oh, great.
So my granddaughter will be getting baptized in a few weeks, and I had pulled out my daughter's old baptism dress. I think I mentioned last year how I had done some closet purging, but I kept the wedding dress, a lot of the religious gowns that we had and stuff like that. So I pulled out the baptism dress and it was yellowed. There was stains on the little collar, probably from the anointment oil and stuff like that.
That's strange. I wonder what causes it to yellow, because I did save my daughter's in a box in tissue. I'm not sure if I had washed it prior, but it was like perfect when we took it out.
No, mine was not. So I clearly did not do a good job. I just had it in a dress bag.
Maybe it's the plastic or something that...
It was in a plastic bag, like a plastic Macy's bag.
Right. So maybe that's what the problem is. I don't know, but good tip. Don't use the bags, I guess, for long term.
Yeah. So anyway, we wanted to use it. I said, let me go to a dry cleaner that specializes in this and see what they say. So I took it in. They said it would take a couple of months because of the chemicals, and it takes time. And then it would lose the sheen, and it was a satin dress, and it would cost $750.
What? No way.
For a tiny little 6-month-old dress.
You could buy a lot of dresses for that.
Well, and can you imagine how much it would cost to get your wedding dress restored?
No. You might as well, it's nice to have the tradition, but you might as well buy a new one, because that is outrageously expensive.
I know. My grandmother actually wore her original wedding dress at her 50th or 60th wedding anniversary. Kudos to her. She could still fit in it. I think it was like she had maybe a little bit had to add to the sides or something, but
that's still amazing.
Yeah. So if you wanted to do something like that, just think how much it would cost.
No, I can't imagine. Also, I could not squeeze into mine, but
anyway, so I decided, okay, $750 is just too much. So I went on to my friendly thought companion, ChatGPT, and went through this process, and it is perfect and beautiful.
Wow. So what did you do?
So the process I used was, first you soak it in just regular water and detergent that you would use, like a baby detergent.
Like a mild detergent.
The very mild stuff with no dyes, no fragrances, all of that. You soak it in the whole day. Then you rinse it all out, and you don't crinkle it, you don't scrunch it, you just kind of pat it dry, and then you lay it out to dry, lay it flat. Then the next day, you just use a little scoop of OxyClean in water and soak it that way, because it says that you need to get the oxidization. So I did that and then rinsed it and laid it out, and there was just a tiny bit of yellowing left on the collar. And so the third step was just dabbing a little mix of hydrogen peroxide and distilled water. It was one portion, or I don't know how you say it, 1-to-4 ratio.
1 part.
Yeah, 1 part of hydrogen peroxide and 4 parts of distilled water. I just tapped it and let it dry, and it looks perfect.
And it's all stuff we have around the house. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, if anything else like that yellows, I'm going to just try it.
Oh, absolutely. Anything that's white that doesn't look white, I'm going to try that.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, saved a lot of money, and I'm just so happy because it'll be an extra blessing that she gets to wear the dress that her mother.
Oh, I know. It's so sweet. I loved when my daughter was able to use her dress for her daughter.
Yeah. So anyway, today's discussion is going to be on safety and all the things as grandparents we need to be re-prepared for, since it's been a while.
I do have some, don't get me started.
I was going to say, you mentioned it last time. So if you want to start with that before we get into the serious stuff, let's do it.
Yes, because I have taken a few weeks off from this, so it's a few built up. The first one I think everyone can relate to, and I'm not sure there's a solution, but don't get me started about not being able to talk to a person when needing customer service. You talk to bots, you get transferred, you push buttons. I just want to talk to a person and solve my problem in 1 minute.
I know. I lose my stuff over this.
It's so, and you're yelling agent, customer service, representative, and looking like a fool.
I'm pounding the zero. 0, 0, 0, 0. Just get me somebody. It is bad. I just had to experience that recently with transitioning to a new cable service or getting rid of cable. And it took hours, one, on hold. Then I finally caved and said, fine, call me back. Because they try to convince you to don't stay on hold and they'll call you back.
Leave your number. I always take that option right away.
Except for they didn't. They said, I'll call you back in 20 minutes. And then they didn't. So then 2 hours later, I have to call again. But anyway, it took an hour on the phone just for the process once I got somebody. But trying to get somebody was horrific.
Oh, don't remind me. I need to do that and cancel my cable. And I've just been holding out because it's such a process and so annoying.
Well, we didn't actually cancel it. We just went to something different. But with all the new technology and everything, it's just so much cheaper. So we're going to save $140 a month.
Yeah, that's my bill's going up. That's exactly why it's on my list to do this week. It's a crazy ripoff that they charge so much. Like, there's so much competition now. Why aren't you lowering your prices? Why are you raising your prices?
They rely on suckers like me who just don't have time and have been overpaying for years.
It's so frustrating. But yes, that is on my to-do list. And I will be very annoyed because same thing. I'll be pushing zeros and yelling. And I don't think there's a solution to this, but I just had to get it off my chest because
I'm with you on this one.
It's annoying.
And I don't know how the younger people deal with it because they don't.
They don't make a phone call at all costs. They hate to make phone calls.
So how do they get anything done?
I know they email, I don't know what else, but I noticed whenever something needs to be done, I'm like, just call. Well, I'm not calling. I'll just send an email. Sometimes it's just so much faster to make that call and get it handled right then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But okay, my next don't get me started, which I don't know. It's a very minor thing in this world, but I've been noticing it and I'm wondering if anyone else has noticed it. Fast food napkins don't absorb. So say you're going through the Starbucks drive-through and you spill coffee on your seat, knowing that firsthand this definitely happened to me. And the napkins, I think, are just like blotting the corners of your mouth. That's what they're there for because they don't absorb anything.
So it's funny you say that about Starbucks because I have in my glove compartment, I have a stack of Starbucks napkins just in case.
Same. And they don't absorb. So,
oh gosh. So I guess I got to replace those.
I guess they're good for wiping, but not good for absorbing. If you have a larger spill, forget it. You need a whole-on rag.
Okay, good to know.
Or paper towels from your house. Just something I noticed that makes no sense. I think they just use whatever the absolute cheapest material is. I don't know. But it doesn't absorb.
When I get like food from the taco shop or whatever, I have to get a huge stack because they're thin, they're tiny.
I know. They're microscopic.
Yeah.
My last don't get me started, which this is something that happened recently to me. And shout out to Sharon, the esthetician. I got a facial and that morning I had a really busy day. So I was determined to do good skincare because my nighttime routine's great. Morning, not so much.
Well, and we had a whole episode with Sharon, the esthetician, and she was trying to teach us.
Right. So I was trying to follow her steps. I did the eye cream. I did the serum. I did the moisturizer, put on some sunscreen after my early morning shower, off for the day. I had to do some work, and then I was running to Pilates, which normally I go to Pilates with no makeup, but I had to be ready for the day. So put makeup on, and then I had a quick change of clothes. I was just going to run in the bathroom, and then I had to run to the doctor to get my knee injection to help. I have a torn meniscus, so I get an injection every few months to help with the pain. So I was off, and I've seen him for probably 3 years now, quarterly. So we've gotten friendly. His staff and I joke around. Super, super nice office. So I rush out of Pilates. I run 20 minutes to the doctor's appointment. I've never had to wait there. And so I do schedule my schedule pretty tight when I know I'm going. So I get in there and I'm in the little room waiting. So now I'm getting annoyed because I have an appointment directly after this to meet a client. And I'm like, oh, this is going to throw my whole schedule off. So he does finally come in. He apologizes. I guess I had some mishaps in the clinic that morning. And he gave me the strangest look and he said, everything okay? And I thought maybe I had like the resting bee face or something. So I thought, clean it up, Sharon. So I tried to make a nice expression, and he kept giving me a weird look. He goes, "You sure everything's okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my knee's a little sore, but other than that, good." Kept giving me strange looks. So then I check out with his appointment setter, and she's giving me weird looks. And I'm thinking, what is going on? So I make my next appointment. I go to the car. Thankfully, I look in the rearview mirror. I had makeup smeared down my entire face. Not
What do
like
you mean?
not like a little bit. I think all the great skincare I did just like grabbed the makeup in Pilates and just sweated it down.
Like your mascara and everything?
Mascara, my eyeshadow was totally black, like as if a little kid took black crayon and did their eyes.
So he probably
But
thought you were crying
or beat
something.
horrible. My not even like streaks on my cheek, Angela, like full on my cheeks were black. I've never seen such a thing. It was like a 16-year-old had just gone through a bad breakup and had been sobbing all day and night with badly placed makeup and mascara.
So is the don't get me started, why didn't anybody say anything to you?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yes,
So
I totally agree with that. Because if I have lipstick on my teeth or
exactly. So then I'm thinking, I know it was out of concern, and now it explains why he gave me such strange looks, but maybe someone say, "Oh, you got something on your face." Like,
Right.
at least prompt
I
me
bet
to
he
look
thought
in the
you were bawling your eyes out or something.
Probably, but my demeanor was normal. My voice was normal. I don't know. I have never been so embarrassed. I took the Kleenex from my car and wiped it off and immediately thought, why didn't I
Was
take
it
a
the Starbucks
picture?
napkin that didn't absorb
No,
anything?
thankfully I had regular Kleenex brand tissue, but immediately called my sister and I was hysterically laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what just happened. If I could describe to you how bad it was, though, it's nothing would describe it. It was so bad.
See, and that's just not like if people let that sit all day long.
I'm so thankful I looked before I went to meet my customer.
And I'm even annoyed when people don't say like, "Oh, you have lipstick on your teeth," or I've helped a woman, and it's probably happened to me, and people haven't said anything where they leave the bathroom and their skirt is tucked into their years back when we had pantyhose and
Right.
stuff.
Or even like I'll tell people if their tags are hanging out.
Yeah, me too. I told a colleague, he's a pretty senior level guy up in my company. I had to tell him to check his ply.
Your barn door's open.
We were at an event together, and I'm like, I texted it to him actually.
Oh, that's funny.
He walked
But yes,
away and I texted it. I was too embarrassed.
That's my don't get me started. Why did no one through this whole chain of events, the person checking me in, the doctor, the scheduler? Now, I did get on the Pilates people when I went next. I was like, why didn't you guys tell me? And they said that they definitely would have told me, and they didn't see anything, which probably did happen
once you left.
because I was rushing out, and I'm sure I threw sunglasses on. It was below my sunglasses for sure, but terrible. So yes, please, if you see someone with makeup smeared all the way down their face, or even just a little lipstick on their teeth, let them know.
Or their toilet paper on their shoe or something. Whatever.
Anything.
Yeah, I would appreciate it if somebody did that to me.
Yes, so would I, and I was very grateful that I did catch it when I did.
Who doesn't appreciate when somebody lets them know that?
Right. Nobody's going to get upset that you told them that they have food hanging off their tooth.
That's right.
So those are my don't get me started for
those are good ones, and I agree with all of them.
Well, we're in agreement this time. That's pretty good.
I know. A lot of times
we're not.
This is my new year. By the way, we had talked about having a word of the year. Did you think of one yet?
No, so we can't talk about it until the next episode.
Dang it, because I have one.
Okay, well, just keep it to yourself.
Why? I'm gonna
No, I need time to think about it. I forgot.
Well, I'll give it offline, and then maybe you'll agree with it.
Okay.
All right.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Next episode, we'll come up with our words.
Okay. So this episode is about child safety. And I get it. Everybody thinks they know. Yes, you have to get the locks on the cabinets. Yes, you have to do this. Yes, you have to do that. But do you think we're really doing as good a job as we should? Or if you're grandparents, you haven't had to do it in so long. So do you think you would do it?
Well, I think there's been changes, but also I think reminders can never hurt. I think a lot of it is common sense, but at the same time, if one person hears something they hadn't thought of, it's worth it just to spread the word for the safety, because it is astonishing how many preventable things happen to kids?
So here's some statistics, which makes it even more important that we have this discussion. 12,000 children die annually from preventable injuries like falls, fires, drowning, motor vehicle crashes. Okay, a lot of this doesn't necessarily equate to what's going on at home. However, 2,300 children under 15 die every year from unintentional injuries at home, and over 3.4 million are injured at home. So it's a big number that are preventable.
Right. Which I think things happen in life. You can't go through life living in fear, but if you can prevent things and have the right tools to prevent preventable things, definitely, I think that's what we need to talk about.
Yeah. So there's a few big statistics. And the reason why I wanted to have this discussion is because I think I mentioned most of my time right now is protecting my infant from the toddler. My granddaughter is the infant, my grandson is the toddler. He'll do things that I know they're not intentional, but
they're toddlers.
but they're toddlers. Like, he's playing baseball in the back with this big plastic bat, and he's swinging, and then he'll go up and try to swing, and thank goodness I have, like, such good agility.
If you don't say
I've
so
got,
yourself.
like, quick reactions, yeah, where I can, like, put my arm in front of something so he'll hit my arm and not the baby or something like that. But it got me thinking, gosh, there's just so many things that could happen on a day-to-day basis, and I end up exhausted at the end of the day watching them compared to a 14-hour workday because you are on such high alert.
Well, you're on your toes all the
long.
time. I was laughing because I think being a parent of athletes, you're the same. You just get excellent agility skills because balls are coming from you at all directions and bats and
Yeah.
kicks and this and that. I crack up because I still joke around that I have the reflexes of a cat.
Exactly.
So
That's me too. That's why I was kind of proud of myself, actually.
yeah. So the thing that surprised me when looking through this was I think we all think of motor vehicle accidents. We know those are something that happens and are dangerous, and drownings you hear a lot about. But falls is something I had not really heard that much about, and surprised me that that was the number one safety issue with kids.
Yeah, falls are a big deal.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it, but
Falls are the number one cause of non-fatal injury, but there's a lot of fatalities that happen in young children in the home with stairs, windows, and furniture.
and furniture you do hear a lot about because I remember with my kids anchoring every bookcase, every dresser, and I think now even a lot of the manufacturers put warning after warning on things that you can pull down on top of yourself. So I think the awareness is better, but again, just a simple reminder for us that have had the same homes for years, like kids climb on things, they pull things over on themselves.
My little 2-year-old son climbed up on the top of the refrigerator. Like, they will find ways to climb.
Right. And we have earthquakes out here too, so that makes a little bit of a difference. But my theory was also my idea was always just anchor whatever you could to the wall, because if it can be pulled over, you might as well just have it anchored.
I think you probably were an exception, Sharon. I don't think most people anchor everything. I don't. I didn't when I had kids. I still don't now.
Yeah, I definitely did. But like I said, I think the awareness is getting out there so much better now. I think I was just a scaredy cat of getting things pulled over. But regardless, I think the research shows now that it happens. And I do think when you're buying new furniture, there's so much better about giving anchors, telling you that this is, especially nursery furniture, I guess is what I'm thinking more of.
Well, I know my grandson has a tall dresser now that has his new big boy room, and they did anchor that, but I don't recall other things in their house that are anchored. I have a big armoire with a really heavy TV in the old-fashioned TV with,
Right.
like, that's 1,000 pounds, which I don't even know how I'm gonna get rid of. I wanna get rid of it. If he were to climb on that, I just can't even imagine. I don't know if it would tip over, it's so heavy, but still,
Right.
those are things that you have to think about. Go
Right. And
throughout and look
it's
what
so
should be
easy
anchored.
to buy L brackets and just
And just do it.
Attach. Yeah, that's what I always did. And that's what I see my son-in-law doing as well for my granddaughters, because it's something that's easily preventable, but it just takes a couple minutes of getting it done. And once you've done, it's done.
Yeah, that's true. The second one, which I thought was really important, which we've had an episode about this, and we will again when summer comes, as you mentioned last time, is the drowning and how many drownings happen. Drowning is the leading cause of unintentional injury death for ages 1 to 4.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
And so many happen in the home because it's bathtubs, it's buckets. I would always tell my daughter, I was freaking out over the last 2 years before my grandson was older, keep the toilet lid shut. Put a latch on the toilet lid, because they look in the toilet and they're head heavy and they could fall in the toilet and they can't get out and they drown that way. So that scares the crap out of me. And I don't know why that's the one that I hold on to all the time. But buckets with just a little 1 to 2 inches of
Right.
water.
No, it's things you don't think of like that, because of course everyone thinks of swimming pools, and probably bathtubs. They have some really cool newfangled toilet locks too now. My daughter has on all her toilets, but they've come a long ways as far as toilet locks, for sure.
Yeah. And I think sometimes as grandparents, I don't know if we're as conscious, or are we fully selfless where it's like, oh, what a pain. We have to unlock this every time we want to go to the bathroom or whatever. But I think it's important, and we should just try to remember when they're little, these are things that you'll never think would happen that are happening every
Right.
day.
Especially when they're spending time in your home. Now that mine are long distance, I have a lot different setup than when it was a daily occurrence they were in my home. But when they're in your home, there's also, with all the new stuff, there's so much stuff you can take on and off. So you can just use it while they're there.
True.
I mean, that didn't used to be the case, but I'm just amazed by all the products on the market now.
And it's not as hard anymore, because I was in the Home Depot getting a door lock, I don't even know what because we have those door handles that are like long. So it's not like you can put the plastic thing over the round
Right.
handle. Ours is long. But they do make it. So I was in Home Depot and there was a grandpa there, and he's looking like for a long time. I could watch him looking. I was waiting for him to move so I could get what I needed. And he finally looked at me with the toddler, and because he was with me, and he said, "Do you know like which one is best for cabinets?" Because he was thinking it's still the ones that you have to screw in everywhere.
And you push down.
Yeah, now they have the magnets. And I was telling him, I'm like, oh, get the magnets. So much easier. And so he ended up getting those. But I realized we don't have those in our home. And I even know my daughter and son-in-law, they have them in the kitchen, but they don't have them in other places where chemicals could be.
Right. Well, really any cabinet, bathroom cabinets, everything, even the master bath, kids are everywhere.
Kids are everywhere. And they're making it so much easier now. You really don't have an excuse. The one thing, though, we talk about poisonings and the chemicals and all that. And it's funny because my grandson right now, he knows the word chemical.
Oh.
And so if he sees something, he'll say, chemical, chemical.
Oh.
Yeah, you stay away from the chemicals. But it's medications. And as grandparents, we really have to be careful. They said medications are the leading cause of fatal poisonings. It's not chemicals.
Wow. I'm surprised, just because it's so hard to get into pill bottles.
But here's what they said. Here's a tip. Because how a lot of people will take their weekly pills
and the pill
out
thing,
of the bottle,
the pill
and they just
containers.
put them in the little containers.
That's what I do with my supplements.
Easily snap.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That makes sense.
And so there's heart meds, diabetes drugs. There's so many things that we do. And if you take them out of those pill bottles,
they're no longer safe.
They're no longer safe.
Yeah, that's a good reminder, because I didn't really think about that. I don't really take meds on the regular.
But even if
supplements
you have, like,
too,
a bunch of vitamins,
right,
supplements, whatever, it's going to happen.
And my granddaughter is fascinated by my little pill container with my supplements. Every morning when I take them, she is fascinated by everything in there, what I'm doing, watches my every move.
That's right. So if, my grandson, I know my son-in-law takes like one pill and then the rest are vitamins, and he does take them out. And what little boy doesn't want to be like their dad?
Right.
And,
Or they're
like, wanna
interested
copy them.
in all the little things.
That's what I mean, wanna copy.
Right.
"Ooh, daddy takes this. I'm gonna take it because I wanna be like daddy." So you just never know, and or I wanna be like grandpa. Grandpa takes this and it looks like candy. I'll
Oh, yeah, and
take
that's a
it.
good point. It does look a lot like candy.
Yeah, looks like little pieces of candy.
Yeah,
So
so that's a good tip to make sure be very aware of where your medicine is and don't leave it to where little hands can get to that.
yeah.
One thing I thought of when I was thinking about this is it's common to think about the drownings, the water, the stairs, the falls, but in this day and age too, and I've was listening to a podcast talking about the importance with younger kids of teaching them the correct body part names. And I think it is something important to discuss because as kids start going to daycares and different situations, they need to be able to tell parents properly what each body part is.
Mm,
And I think rather than making up little nicknames or whatever.
that's a different safety point.
Right.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought about
Personal
that
safety.
until I was listening to this podcast. And it is very important to teach children the proper names for their body parts.
You meaning, like, the actual names?
Yes,
Okay.
I think it is.
Well, how would that make it different, though? Like, than saying, "He touched my wee-wee" versus my penis?
I think it's just more anatomical, more matter of fact, rather than making it a cutesy little thing. Like,
Oh.
just make it like you would say
Your
your
body is
leg,
serious. It's
your
not
neck,
something to
your
be played with.
face. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just thinking about listening back to this podcast, but it did strike me as something that I wouldn't have thought of that is important.
Yeah. Oh, that just scares the heck out
I
of me to
know.
even
It's
think about.
same. It's something you don't want to think about, but importance that kids know how to communicate,
Yeah.
which
Agreed.
goes back into teaching kids the difference with strangers and giving information. And it's a whole nother ballpark out there now, what we have to teach our kids. But I think as when we're watching grandchildren, it's important to know that they're following whatever their parents are teaching them and don't talk about your address or your certain personal facts, I guess.
Yeah. 'Cause there's such a balance. When we talked about that anxious generation, it's like, let your kids do more so they're not so anxious all the time
Or living in fear
or living in
constantly.
fear constantly, but at the same time, there's so many things to fear out there.
Right.
So
No,
it's
and I
like
think that's why it's good to just have reminders like this that they have to know what is appropriate to share, what's not appropriate to share.
yeah.
And that I'll never forget when my daughter was telling me, she's a school counselor, so she's been well trained on this, but teaching kids the difference between surprises and tricks or tricky people. And tricky people try to tell you to keep secrets. And secrets that are surprises are different than secrets. And it was a whole thing. And that's maybe something we could do in the
Oh,
future, but it was so interesting to me. And you have to do it at the level the child is at, but they need to be aware, like, if a stranger tells you not to tell your parents, that's a tricky person. That's not someone that is good.
yeah. We should do something on that specifically.
Yeah, I
How
think
to
it would
talk
be good.
for parents and grandparents, like
Right.
how to talk to your grandkids, like to make sure they understand that.
Right, exactly. And it's unfortunate that we have to even talk about this sort of thing, but it is a thing,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about some really good things today that I know I'm going to take to heart. I'm going to kind of look through my furniture and see what would be an issue, especially on the falls. The other thing is we live in a 2-story house and we have windows that are high. So I need to put the window latches so my grandkids can't go out the window.
Right. No, I must have been a paranoid parent. My master window is a little bit lower. It's not super low, but it's low enough to where kids can half their body up. I actually mounted an ornamental thing on the outside so you couldn't push the window screen out because
Oh,
I had concrete underneath. And
yeah.
my biggest fear was my kids will be standing, pushing the screen out and then fall onto the concrete.
Yeah.
So for years, I had this ornamental metal thing that was permanently attached to the outside of my house. When it was painted, I had it taken off because I don't have the same worry anymore. But now with
But
grandkids,
now
it's
with
a whole,
grandkids, you do.
yeah,
That's what I mean.
and
That's why I think we have to rethink this stuff.
right. And I did save it. I mean, it was
Yeah. But they have little latches you can have and stuff like that. So just kind of going around and
Right. I
checking
think
off
all of the
those
reminders
areas.
are good just so everyone's keeping those grandkids safe.
Yeah. And before we end today, I'm just going to shout out the poison control number everybody should have at their ready. And it's 1-800-222-1222. So with that, let's all be safe out there. Protect our grandbabies.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe to the podcast so we can continue to grow our community. And follow us on Instagram at Working Grandmas Podcast, on Facebook at The Grand Balance, a Working Grandmas Podcast, and join our LinkedIn group, Working Grandmas. You can also email us at info@workinggrandmas.com or message us through any of our social media platforms.